awaken after what seems like years since your first night in relative comfort. You've all managed to have a full night's sleep. None of you required to stand watch. Your exhausted bodies fall into a deep sleep. You wake feeling rested, finally rested. As you climb out of your tents and look around the small clearing in which you were camped, the fireflies from last night that gave the grove a magical feeling are now gone, and a low mist hugs the ground. Such is the way of the weather in the Vlata Valley. There's a strange feeling that hugs the small grove, as if you're being watched, or as if something is listening to your movements. And you walk around the campsite and make your morning preparations in silence. In the distance you can hear strange cries of creatures deep in the shadows of the black oaks. Low rumbling growls and loud screeching cries, though they are several miles away. It seems Javoy did a good job of keeping you all safe throughout the night. There's the beginnings of a fire that has been made in your small circle of tents, and you were able to make yourselves a satisfying breakfast, the first warm meal that you've had since leaving Braskov. When Javoy enters the clearing, sees you all after having a full night. He smiles. Well, it seems the things of the woods left us alone for the night. This is good. It is good that you are rested. It is good that you had sleep. You will need your energy, and you will need your strength for the climb ahead. He takes a breath in and considers his next words. He looks from side to side, watching again as if the trees and the foliage around were listening to his words. So you hear a low rumbling growl in the distance of a very large creature that is hidden. Javoy seems to pay it no mind, turns back to the rest of you. It is good that you are eating. Make sure you have the good breakfast. We need you all to be fighting fit in case we meet. Well, it is good that you eat something. It will take us several hours to climb the hills and past the watchtower. The descent on the other side is much steeper and longer. But from the top, when we get there eventually, we'll be able to see the Hagsmeyer from the tower. Once you crest the hill, the Hagsmeyer is only a day away. Now, as I have said before, we must go quick. We must go quiet. There are many dangers that lurk in the Black Oaks. Many creatures that wish to do us harm. Many things that would like to make the breakfast of us, yes. But Javoy will not let that happen. Keep away the Lasniks and Lasnikas, the Guloi and the Tizetsu. Do not worry about these. The Shishigas and Satari will leave us be. This climb should be easy enough for us all. It is getting past the watchtower and down the other side that poses the greatest difficulty. Well, hopefully the watchtower will be quiet, though there are those that have been this way that have said that they have encountered things there. It is a place of power, old power, long before the Empire of Whispers, and the Mud King and his kingdom of shit. Things still cling to that place, but hopefully they will leave us be. Javoy will break camp while you eat, and then we will climb the hill. He sort of turns round at that moment. You watch him moving around the campfire with this unnatural speed. And then you can see that his movements now are quite cat-like as he sways from side to side as he moves. You can see that he's placing his feet very carefully to make no sound. And by the time that you have all finished eating, Javoy has packed away the tents. It is time to be off. This time we get out of the Black Oaks.
And what other denizens are there in the Black Oaks? Aside from these spirits at the watchtower, what else do we need to be worried about, Javoy?
Oh, there are many. There are many. There is at least one thing for every fear that you have in your heart that roams the Black Oaks. It was once a place of great power. And his face gets really sad when he's remembering. You can see his eye gets quite big. It's a little quiver in his bottom lip. It was a very beautiful place when the sun used to shine. Now it is full of the horrors. The worst of all, in Javoy's opinion, the one that Javoy cannot stand, is the Bloodneck. This horrible being of death. Once beautiful stags, now they are twisted creatures, carry a horrible, deadly curse with them. You will not see a Bloodneck. Javoy will make sure of this. This is the worst. But there are others. Some that are not as twisted as the Bloodneck. There are Shubins that are angry. Indriks that are lost. And there are others, like the Moz, the trolls of the Moz. They are wanderers, but they have lost their home the same as we all have, so they are angry. Bands of hungry Kazalek roam the Black Oaks too.
Karzalek, you say?
Yes, we are wise to give them a wide berth. Even Javoy is no match for the pack of Kazalek. Then there are the Polkan, which themselves are friendly if you catch them in the right mood. And there are other things. Well, I mean, it will take all day for Javoy to list the denizens of the Black Oaks. The ones that we need to watch out for, I believe. would be the spirits that linger, those that have died in the Black Oaks, whose souls cannot pass. Those that have heard the whisper that the Dark Lord uses to do his bidding even in death. The Grave Man, the Death Caps, the Scary, the Death Blossoms, all walked to do the Dark Lord's bidding after death.
At
But they are
the
easy enough.
at the mention of death caps and Scary, my nose visibly crinkles in disgust, remembering back to my road to Braskov. It was a death cap that gave me this, and I'll point to the scar under my eye, where I got touched by a death cap tendril.
The touch is poisonous and deadly. You're lucky to be alive. Very lucky. So death caps and scaries. Maybe on the outskirts where we are, maybe we have to contend with them, but a group of us will go down easy enough, provided there are not too many. The others, Shaskas. Oh, Shaskas would be bad if we met Shaskas. Oh, we can take cover in the trees. Their wings cannot fly between their boughs. So Shaskas. And,
Sounds like a
other creatures.
dangerous place.
It is. It is very. Once a place of beauty and magic, now all that magic has been twisted and warped into a place of horrors and nightmares. All designed to, in Javoy's opinion, keep everyone in one place so that the Whispers can keep an eye on them. Cannot have people wandering off through the woods and trying to make a new home somewhere, so he makes the woods dangerous. That's why there's very few settlements surrounded by trees. All the ones that you see are almost always in the open, so there's nowhere to hide. It's a very clever plan of the Lord of Whispers, I think. So, do you wish to talk about the monsters for the rest of the morning, or do you want to eat your breakfast and then, make haste with Chivalry? We do not have too many more days before the lovely friend here turns into, well, we do not have any more days.
I'm just gonna take a big pull on one of my painkiller potions and gingerly get to my feet, waiting for everyone else to be ready to break camp and go.
Alright,
Ready.
be on our way then.
Yeah, let's get going.
Ah, now let us do this. It is good. So Javoy will finish eating his bit of meat. He's rugs it up in his mouth a little bit. No, he's cooked it on the flat rock in amongst the coals. Sort of rips at it a little bit and swallows it down. With that, he's got a gleam in his eye again. Okay, let us go. This is a Javoy will point the way. Javoy will break the camp. Now you must go quick and quiet. So, can everybody do for Javoy the stealth check? If you wish to do the stealth check.
Yeah, actually, ruling question about that, Mr. DM. Because I had disadvantage on stealth checks from wearing scale mail, you said that the smelly ointment gave me an additional -5, but now I'm not wearing scale mail anymore. I'm wearing a chain shirt, which doesn't give me disadvantage. So, do I just get disadvantage, or do I just get -5?
Get the disadvantage. Just get the disadvantage.
Cool. Oh, fuck.
Probably still roll better than my 6.
You think?
I have a 4.
Well, I rolled a 3 -1.
Oh, we're all in order though. That's nice.
I also rolled a
Okay.
14, but that was the high roll.
Right. I was going to write your scores down, but I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, not
So
basically the loudest fucking party ever.
Mhm.
You start a
so
brass band.
you just start singing and dancing. So Jivoy points and says, "Start walking this way. Go quickly, go quietly. Jivoy will break the count." And as you set off, like your armor is clanking, and like you're just not quite used to walking through this sort of terrain. Even though you spend quite a bit of time in the Stranglethorns, the terrain here is slightly different. Even though everything looks black and dead, like it's still a living forest. When you
Is
do
it marshy
start,
like the picture looks, or is that further on?
no, this is sort of up into see the Black Oaks. If you look in the picture, is up towards the hills there. This squishy bit was meant to be, excuse me, like down towards the river. That's the best picture I could find. Sort of where you're walking. There's the path is in the bottom left hand corner. So you're following that down, and then you cut off up towards the woods. So yeah, you just immediately it's too early in the morning for you to be all on your game. You need an hour or so to get your eye in, and you just sort of tromp and stamp off into the woods. And scant moments later, Shavoy just rounds on you. You look so loud. Shavoy could hear you for miles. Why you spear? Why are you so loud? I tell you, we must go quick. We must go quiet. Ah, we will attract everything in 10 miles walking like this. It's not good. Do not, it's not good. Try and be more quiet if you can, please. We will attract all sorts of creatures. You see his eye flash and he makes a quick hand gesture. And I'm just going to ask you all to roll again. Roll stealth again.
Don't think it's gonna help.
Please
This time
tell me he cast Pass Without Trace, please.
he did cast Pass Out Trace, so plus 10 this time.
I would roll a nat 20 when I've got disadvantage, wouldn't I?
Well, mine did get better
16.
14.
by 1.
17.
Oh, with plus 10, 13.
Oh yeah, I didn't put the plus 10 on. So that would be 27. Good grief.
Fucking hell.
Okay, so everyone did good apart from me.
Yeah. What was yours again? 14.
No, I rolled a 4, so it's minus 1, so 13.
I was the 14. Torlek.
You were 14 total.
Mm-hmm.
So you follow Javoy through the woods, the thick woods. The two heavily armored lads doing their best to keep the clanking and the clattering to a minimum. Though every now and
Chainmail, very
again,
rattly.
yeah, every now and again there's a tree root or a small bush that you don't quite manage to get your heavily armored foot over or through properly, and there's a rattle or a clank. And with every clank, you see Javoy shake his head. And you see he's moving very in a very feline manner, sort of swaying quite low, moving ahead of the party through the dense wood, which now is starting to climb up. As you're looking around, you get glimpses of this place's former beauty. You can see that even though the colours have changed and the ground is a very dark brown, almost grey colour, instead of the lush, vibrant forest floor, you see it's still growing. It's almost as if someone has sapped all of the colour out of the scene. But when you look, you can still see left and right small dells with little streams trickling. That could be considered quite beautiful had there been sunlight and colour. You've traded the dreary landscape of the Stranglethorns for the quite drab, black and grey, almost monotone colour scheme of the Black Oaks. Now, with Javoy leading, you do make good progress through the mess of trees and bushes. He leads you around large pools of standing, stagnant water, over streams, past large rock formations. And all the while you're going, you catch every now and again the cry of some distant bird, or like the call of a distant mammal off the trees somewhere. And for the most part, you are unharassed as you make your way through the Black Oaks. You've been climbing steadily up the hill for 3 hours now. It's starting to get steeper. You can feel the air getting colder, but you're starting to climb up above the level of the mist. You can start to see a bit further ahead of you. There's a break in the trees, and in the very distance you can see this large stone crumbling formation. Maybe 7 or 8 miles away, you reckon, on the top of this large ridge. And as it comes into sight, Javoy goes, "This is where we're going. We make good time." And then he stops, still. Holds up a hand for you all to stop. And begins to listen. You see his head going back and forward, and he gets quite low to the ground, almost on all fours. Starts to smell the air. And he looks over his shoulder at the rest of you and goes, "We are not alone. Javoy cannot tell what it is that follows us. Be on your guard. Keep your heads on a swivel. Make sure your eyes look in every direction as we move. Something is close. Has been following us for a while. Javoy does not know what it is." And he just keeps looking on and goes, "Come, follow me, quick." He starts moving off again. So, any of you that want to keep your eyes on a swivel, I need a perception check off you, please.
I'll have a perception.
25.
Oh,
Fine.
not even necessary. Nice one, Godfrey.
Non-natural 20.
18.
9 for me.
11. But my passive's 18, so.
It's funny, everyone who takes that feat always seems to roll lower than their passive.
Okay. So, as you travel, as almost another hour goes by, you can see Javoy is now looking side to side as he moves forward, smelling the air. Yes, everyone bar Leo, because even though you're looking for it, Torlek, you don't see it with your eyes. You just get the faintest smell on the wind. The rest of you look up the hill to your left. It's sort of perpendicular, about 90 degrees to where you're traveling. You see Javoy's head slowly turns that way as well. And in the distance, maybe 200 meters off, every now and again through a break in the trees, you get a glimpse. Dark black fur. A large body moving silently through the trees. It's keeping pace with you and it's moving in the same direction. And Javoy whispered to you, he's like, does everyone see what Javoy see?
I don't.
Yes.
Hmm.
What is it?
If we are lucky, if we are lucky, it is a good spirit. If we are unlucky, could be a carnifex. I cannot tell from this distance. All I keep seeing is the black fur.
Do you think
Let us hope we are lucky.
Have I ever heard of that?
Carnifex. Would you have heard of Carnifex? Make a history check.
9.
9. You have heard the name, though you've never seen one in the flesh. Lucky for you. From a 9, you know that it is a large beast covered with dark fur, savage. But you couldn't really picture anything else in your mind other than it's something to be wary of. So, as you continue on, Javoy will just keep motioning. You have to keep walking. It's like as long as it stays at a distance, it's only watching us. I do not think it is hunting us, otherwise it would have been on upon us already. You have to just keep going. Just keep an eye on it. As long as we keep it in our vision, it cannot get closer.
How can
Do
it
not worry,
stalk?
Javoy will keep you safe.
How can it stalk us with your magic? What kind of creature
This
can
is
do
what
that?
is worrying Javoy. There are many things that can stalk, even with Javoy's magic. Possibly because it is such a big group of us. Javoy non travel alone, much quieter and quicker than this. I do not know. As you travel on a little bit further, you get maybe another 100 feet. Javoy will big sigh of relief. Oh, okay. Javoy has seen a little bit more. It is not a carnifex. This is good. I believe whatever it is, we can probably take it on head to head in a fight if we need to. It is possibly a Bashanurai, large, normally docile creature. It usually only hunts by night, so it would be weird to see one out through the day, but we'll just keep walking. And are you all happy to just keep following Javoy? Just going along with what he's saying here. I didn't want to point it out, but you are all free agents, and you do as you please.
So
I'm
we'll
okay.
charge off into the woods in different directions, just to spite him.
seems to know what he's about? We've trusted him, so.
Yeah, this is his domain, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, let's not call it his domain. That makes it sound a bit like he's going to murder in it. I'm just going to stay at the back and keep an eye on the thing if we can still see it.
Okay, yeah, let's have a travelling order. So Godfrey's going to be at the back. Javoy is going to be at the front.
It is stalking from behind, right? Not like.
No, it is perpendicular to you to the left.
Okay, well, I guess I can still see it from the back. Wherever I can see it from.
Yeah, you can see it from anywhere in your little travelling line. Every now and again there's a break in the trees. And the rest of you just happy enough to just be between Javoy and Godfrey.
Yeah, that seems like a great place to be.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So you travel on a little while longer. 2 minutes goes by. Godfrey, every now and again through the trees you can still see the black fur. Five minutes go by. Then 10. And then Godfrey, you notice the shape looks a little bit closer than it was before. Your voice seems to just be moving forward. Another few moments go by. And you think the shape has got even closer.
Try and scare
Quite
it off.
clearly see large flanks of dark fur.
How close are we talking?
I'm talking within 100 meters now. It's closed the gap by half.
I'm just gonna pass it down the line that it's getting closer.
You want to stop now. They won't stop. And he's looking, can't quite see his head. Godfrey, can you see his creature?
Can I?
You need to make another perception check. Now it's stopped. There's bushes and
20
trees in the way.
23.
23. 50 meters away from you, you see two large yellow eyes staring straight at you. Surrounded by dark fur.
I'll point at it for Javoy. Are they scared of fire or anything? Or light?
Javoy goes, fire and lights could be good in this. And as he moves to where you are to see what it is, he goes, I believe we are honored. And he just gets to one knee and starts to bow. What do the rest of you do? Do you just stand there? You can see his yellow eyes in the trees. Which Javoy has bowed.
Bow my head, but keep looking at it.
Don't feel like you have to bow if you want. If you don't want to bow, don't be peer pressured into bowing.
Just in case, I'm bowing my head to be respectful, but I'm keeping an eye on it just in case it decides to like do anything weird.
Can I like insight check Javoy and see if I feel like I should follow?
That's a good idea. Yeah. Those of you that have seen it, do any of you want to make some sort of D&D-esque check to see if you know what it is by any chance?
11 for the insight.
He is bowed his head in reverence.
Okay. I will take a knee, but I'll make sure to have me shield like in front of us. So it still looks like it's been pretty respectful, but there is a shield in the way.
Have I seen enough of it to be able to make a history check or anything to see if I know what it is?
You've seen flashes of body and dark fur and stuff. Yeah, you can make some sort of check. I mean, that's what this game's all about.
Can I history check it then?
You can.
Ooh, that's going to be a 23.
It's a big fucking wolf. It's a huge wolf. This wolf's like 10 feet high.
I
Historic.
am
Big-
also bowing.
Big black wolf. You've heard of them. You've heard of dire wolves. Huge man-eaters.
I am
You
also
believe
on my.
this is a dire wolf. You are also...
There is a revenant bowing, like just the same as Shavoy.
Hmm. So as you all begin to bow, there's a low growl. Rustles through the bushes, and then silence. As the mist itself, this huge, 10-foot high black wolf appears out of the drab scenery behind dark leafed bushes. Between the dark trunks of the trees, it just pads forward. You can see its eyes flicking from each of you down to Javoy. Back, its tongue is lolling out of its mouth. And it stops 20 feet away from you all. And you can see as your boy's head begins to come up.
This is when he's gonna be like, oh, this is not the guy I thought it was.
You can see he's just making eye contact. But the wolf, it seems, is focused on a single one in your party. Swaying back and forward,
Who?
staring at Torlek.
Not a
And
dog
pads
person.
forward. And
Oh.
Torlek, you feel a warmth and a slight vibration coming from Sender's heart.
Okay. I'm going to very slowly take it out of my sort of pouch and see what's happening to it.
As you take it, reach into your pouch, you can see the wolf pads forward, staring at you. Starts to cock its head ever so slightly. You reach into your pouch, you feel the warmth of Sender's heart. Small wooden token as you lift it out of your pouch. The wolf pads another step towards you, staring in your eyes. Its powerful shoulders moving silently towards you. As you look down at Sender's heart, it's glowing bright green. And the wolf looks to your palm where Sender's heart is. Stops.
Okay.
I want you to play fetch.
I have absolutely no idea how this magic works, but it's not behaving the way it normally would. But if this creature has any link to Sender's heart, then it can't be that bad. So I'm going to do what I normally do to activate the heart and create the spores and see if it does something different.
Okay, so as you do that, you see Javoy slowly turn his head. Sorry, we turn it the other way because his right eye is in the bandage. We turn his head this way. He makes eye contact with you, and then his bright, glowing green eye flicks down to Sender's heart and flashes you a wicked smile and winks. As he does so, you release the spores, and the dancing fairy escalates start to spin around your party. The giant wolf looks, smells the air once, and then sits down in front of you. Lolls its tongue out of its mouth. And your voice stands up and goes, "Seems I'm not the only one in this party touched by the Fae. We have a guide and a watcher for the rest of our journey, it seems, Torlek. Aren't you an interesting one?" And he comes over and he says, "Where did you get this?"
I'm still not really taking my eyes off the wolf, being very kind of shaken up by the whole experience.
So if you watch the wolf, it sort of it lies down now and begins to lick one of its paws.
I helped a forest spirit of some description. I don't know exactly what she was. On my way here, there was rot infesting something that she cared for, and I helped her. She gave me this as thanks.
Jesus. Mais je vois ici. And he holds out his hand. Please.
I'll sort of pass it to him sort of gently, like conveying in how careful I am with it that it matters a lot to me.
So he takes it up in his hand. And he holds it against his one green eye. You can see that the green in the stone and the green in his eye are the same color glow. Raskadar. And he hands it back to you.
The guy's weird.
How do you know that this is from Ruskadar Forest? I didn't tell you that.
Javoy can smell it. Smell the fresh, the green, the life. Ruskadar is a very special place. In the heart of the forest, it seems, is bathed in light. And he winks at you. And goes, "So, do you know what this is?" And he points over his shoulder at the now sort of very content, chilled out wolf.
I have absolutely no idea. I'm very ignorant when it comes to the ways of Fae, to be quite honest. Sendez was the first I'd ever really met. I'll just take the heart back and put it away.
Well, this is Kadeji, Celestial Guardian. It seems you have met a Fey wanderer in your travels that does not wish you harm. She's checking up on you.
Well,
No,
that fetches a smile from Torlek.
you can ask it one thing. This is the deal with Kadeji. It's very rare, but it seems that it is here for you, and not the rest of us. So you get to ask it a favor.
A favor? I'll just sort of look at Jess and then the rest of the party.
No favor, bro.
Can Javoy offer a suggestion?
Of course.
This favor that you ask will not be for you. He looks towards Jess. It will be for her. For the quick moon to work, we need Fey blood. Untainted Fey blood. It's just a suggestion.
It's a pretty big wolf. I'm sure it's got some to spare.
Just a little sample.
Just a taste.
Just a soupçon. Just a nip.
If we
Well,
need,
please ask it what you will.
you're right, Javoy. If we need that for Jess, then I'm not gonna let a gift like this pass me by. How much do you need?
As much as it will give. Do you have a container? If not, Javoy has a container. And he just produces a flask out of nowhere.
Well prepared. Thank you, Javoy. I just take it like Torlek is feeling pretty overwhelmed at this point. Like, gone from fear to like feeling very warm and fuzzy from Sendez watching over him to, oh shit, I've got to get blood out of this giant forest wolf. Like, worried about Jess, worried about the outcome of this situation. I'm just gonna sort of very gingerly go over towards the very large wolf and kind of kneel down near it and just look at it. Is this a boy wolf or a girl wolf?
Which end are you being near, like?
It is lying down, so you're not quite able to,
Okay.
to see
Okay.
the sex of the wolf.
Okay, well, Kadeji, we need Fey blood. May I please have some of yours?
As you get close, the wolf's head snaps up. As you begin to speak to it. And it looks at you, and as you speaking, it cocks its head ever so slightly. As you finish, you hear a large, booming voice in your head. I will give you, and if you give me.
What do you need? What can I give you?
It bares its teeth and stares at you. And
Okay.
says,
It wants teeth. Teeth.
Okay, I'm just...
The answer.
I'll just...
What is it that has always been, and yet is only a month old?
What is it that had always been?
The wolf
The
stands up and bares its
Rotten
teeth
egg.
inches from your face.
I'm gonna look back straight in its eyes and say, the moon.
And as you do that, it lets out this huge.
It's not a howl.
That reverberates a mile as your voice. Like, what? Ah, Kadeji. And then just holds up a paw.
Fuck. Well, I do have a small knife, so maintaining eye contact with this thing as much as possible, so as to show it I'm not trying to actually hurt it. Just gonna prick one of its pads and take
As you
some.
approach with a knife, it towards you.
We had a deal, Kadeji.
And then it kind of goes, oh. Continues to hold its paw.
I won't take more than I need, and I'll be as quick as I can. I'm sorry, and just nice and quick. Not 1, 2, 3, just prick straight away, so it can't second guess itself.
Okay, as you do, just shoot one of its beams. It doesn't. The wolf doesn't even. The Kadeji doesn't even wince. And you see this shimmering, reddy green blood that shimmers as if it's full of silver flakes. Starts to pour into the vial. It's thick and viscous, and you can see, excuse me, that once it hits the bottom of the vial and starts to cool up, it's got a very faint glow about it. And you get about half a vial before the Kadeji takes its foot away. And then silently just turns and gallops off. Smashes. A rustle of branch and bush as it pads back off into the distance. Within seconds you can't see it, it's gone. And you see your voice just shaking because it is a blessing and also a curse. Everything could have heard the Kadeji for miles. Can never trust these guardians too much.
I'm gonna
Did you get what you needed?
I'm gonna stop at the vial and sort of hold it up to show him how much, just completely dumbfounded, like the amount of stress in that situation for Torlek.
He nods. Yes, it's good. It's good amount. We can go. Do not let that vial break. Do not let it break. Kadeji is possibly the only friendly face spirit in these woods for miles. Unless we see Mintos, but if we see Mintos, we are probably already dead.
Joy.
Oh, that was lucky.
How did you propose to get the Fey blood for this whole procedure without Kadeji? What the?
Yeah. Like, is there any other insane ingredients that we need that hasn't been mentioned?
Yeah.
Silver.
Okay. Yeah, that probably would have been easier to get in town.
No, it's all carefully controlled
No.
by the king, isn't it?
Mm.
Well,
There
yeah,
is no
unless there's a silver mine out here.
And there is a place in the Hagsmire we can get the silver.
How much silver do you need?
Jevoy looks at you. How much silver do you have?
I asked you first.
Quid pro quo, Cruz.
I can produce a glimmering hip flask that I have.
Was that
So as you
just
do,
it gleaming?
Jevoy will rush forward and put your hands on the hip flask and put it back. Do not show this to anybody, Rao. I told you the trees have eyes. This will be enough silver. More than enough. Where did you get such an amount of silver?
As long as we don't waste the precious juices inside. If this is enough, we can use it.
That is more than enough. With that we can make weapons. Where do you get this? Tell Jevoy now. That is more silver than anyone has seen in hundreds of years.
Yeah, I'm not from around these parts.
Your boy just cocks an eyebrow at that. No shit.
Alright, well, let's go and back in the inside pocket for now.
The safest pocket.
Okay. Quickly now.
Where are
If
you
there's
putting the
nothing
vial,
else.
Torlek?
I am going to wrap
Where
the
are you
vial,
putting the vial?
wrap the vial thoroughly in the vestments that I have in my pack, and then put it kind of in the middle of the pack. So even if the pack takes a knock, it'll be relatively cushioned. And then I'm going to say,
I like it. I like it.
and then I'm going to say to Javoy, "No more secrets. This is my friend's life. Make sure you tell us everything in future."
Nah, okay, it's good. I thought that telling you the ingredients when we were in the Hagsmire we could get quite easy. But this is better. That saved a lot of messing about in the Hagsmire. You already have 2/3 of the ingredients.
What's the third one?
Heat root only grows in the Hagsmire.
Okay.
Strange that the...
What's that? It's not like the up the arse of a dragon or something, is it?
No, it's a root that grows in the grounds.
Okay.
What you want about dragons? We don't have... What is a dragon?
Yeah, but I can't remember the name of the thing you have instead.
Ah, Tugarin.
Yeah.
No, it is not up the arse of a Tugarin. Pray we do not meet Tugarin in the Hagsmire. It is strange that usually the plants that cure the illness grow right next to the plants that give you the illness. It is the same for heat root. There's a lot of mist in the Hagsmire.
Oh, fuck.
Also, if we are too late, it is probably the best place for it to happen, as there is no one around for miles and miles and miles. Apart from ourselves, of course. Anyway, enough of the talk. Let us go, let us go, let us go. Quick and quiet, yes, quick and quiet.
Whoops.
Is there anything else you guys want to achieve, or do you want to go quickly and quietly?
Want to go
Quickly.
quickly and quietly?
Quickly and quiet.
If
But-
quickly and quietly is possible.
Yeah. While we're kind of having this discussion before we like properly set off, I do want to actually say to the group, look, if it's really misty and there are other mist maidens that we have to face, keep them off Arwen. Because think about it, I got bit and it didn't affect me. I can't turn into a mist maiden because I'm not a maiden. I think that's how it works. My eyes aren't
Oh.
silver and I got bit.
Ugh, it's a sexist curse.
Is that like Pokemon in like the is the male derivative just called Mr.
Look, I'm not saying that's how it works, but it's an educated guess.
Cool. Well,
Jess, at this point, who's been kind of transfixed by the last couple of minutes and is sort of trying to work out exactly what she wants to say to Torlek at this point, kind of snaps out of her mind and goes, "No, it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. I got Sindri as well."
Oh yeah, his
Oh,
eyes
yeah.
went silver, didn't they?
it would be best to be on our watching out then.
But it's-
Expertly put, Alan.
Yeah, and I started off one sentence and it just like
Yes, you all best be on your watching out.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, you're welcome, guys.
Javoy will beckon you forth up the now quite steep embankment that seems to go on and on and on.
Were Miss Beaden's a type of undead? Did we work that out? Or they're separate?
Not sure.
Did you work that out or not? You did. They are.
Okay.
They are a type of undead. Okay. So,
That gives a good chance of
Javoy
survival.
leads you on. Your feet, legs begin to tire of the constant uphill climb. The rest of the way seems quieter. You do not hear the birds calling, their low grumbles in the distance, just the wind blowing through the trees. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Ah, no, it's up here. And as you begin to near the top of the embankment, you can feel you must be getting closer as the trees are beginning to thin ever so slightly and the wind is blowing through them. And you've traveled for another 3 hours. You're getting close to where you would make camp. Just on the wind, you can hear whispered voices drifting down the hill towards you. And your voice seems to just continue forward.
Does he hear the voices?
Do you ask him?
Yes.
And your voice nods. As you will get
Anything to be
close
concerned
to
about?
feet. In the Black Oaks always. This is the only way. Unless we want to turn back.
Come too far for that.
Javoy would like to see what makes the sounds. Not worry, the Kadeji has seen us in the woods. So Javoy is going to continue creeping forward. You can see him going quite slowly and quietly now. If you follow him up the hill, on the wind, the voices get louder and louder. And through the trees, you can see on an outcropping of rock the destroyed remains of a tower and smaller attached building. Godfrey and Torlek, it has a vaguely religious shape. You can tell from the steep windows and some of the stonework that this looks to be a religious site at some point. And the whispers are getting quite loud.
Anything which suggests who they followed?
Make a history check.
We should not ask these questions.
Can I help him? Or oh, okay.
Yes. So I'll let you to just make one as well.
Yeah, you should make one. You're better at it.
I am a sage background knowledge cleric.
Ha!
Hmm.
Are we still better? What's
You're
your
9.
only
nine.
only one short.
You study the stonework as you get closer. It's very ancient. There's no iconography there that neither of you recognize. So yes, you guys can now see the tower, sort of peeking through the trees, and from within the battlements and the ruins, there is a faint glow. And Javoy sees this too and goes, the Kadeji has stirred up the spirits of the tower, I believe. We have to get past it. Should be able to if we go quietly. Can you all do quietly this time? Our lives may depend on going quietly.
Let's just say unlikely.
Maybe.
Well, have any experience fighting spirits?
So,
Well,
Javoy usually just run away.
if it does come to it, it's
Javoy
always
pick
good.
his battles very carefully.
Well, if it does come to it, it's always good to have Godfrey on side.
He's good there. He's good. So he's going to creep forward towards the keep. Are you all going to follow him? And if you are, stealth checks for me, please.
I will try.
Here we fucking go.
Different dice this time.
19.
Oh, 9.
11.
19.
Okay, we're an hour and I've used up all my good rolls for the evening.
Okay, so as he gets closer, you can quite clearly see now, in the middle of the ruins, there seems to be a group of 5 glowing figures hovering just above the floor around a stone block right in the center of the ruins. And to either side, you can see on the left-hand side, there's another glow coming from a raised area behind a wall. And there's a glow off to the right as well. And Javoy will point to the right, round the front of the ruins. It goes, around the front of the ruins, through the trees is our best route. The Kadeji hasn't awoken the grave men. So, let us sneak quickly and quietly. So as you all begin to sneak and follow Javoy around the front of the ruins, everyone's moving fairly quietly. But Godfrey, as you move past the roots of a large oak tree, your foot catches and there's a clank of your armor. And the whispering stops. Javoy freezes. For a second, all you can hear is the wind. As you look towards the ruins, you see the glow slowly approaching. You go to the specially prepared bottom map. So you can now see this glow very slowly approaching No, Javoy will go. Do we run or do we fight? It is your choice. And he will point this direction here. That is where he must run to.
Let's fucking run.
Yeah, fucking go.
Awesome. Alright then, let's have initiative of everyone, please.
Hmm.
Six.
Crit fail.
You fall asleep.
I've got a wound, man.
It's like, run!
Oh my god!
Wow.
The girls are fucking smashing it.
Holy shit!
They're gonna be like across on the other side of the forest while we're still
Sharon,
yet
what
to start.
next adding to that?
Hey, Giselle, no, she's on the clock.
We're going into chase. We'll go back to this page. Okay. So, as your voice is, are we going to run? Or are we going to fight? It is your choice. Without blinking, Arwen and Jasil just take off in front of all of you. Javoy is hot on their heels. He just goes, run, quick! And as you begin to charge past the bushes and the black oaks, Godfrey and Torlek's armor begins to shake and clang and clatter. You see the glow in the ruins rise in intensity as if it's rushing forward. Arwen, as you round the corner, you see in the courtyard this frozen form hunched over. It looks to be a tree, but there's something strangely humanoid about its appearance. As you round the corner, you see one of the Graveman forms float. Its glowing blue-green ghastly light slams into the tree and it begins to rise from the ground. As it turns, it looks at you, lumbers forward to block your path. This is going to be a skill check. So you've got one of your skills you can use to try and get past this huge revivified ent that looks to be stepping to block your path with large sort of branches coming down for arms, swiping at you.
Is stealth a skill?
Yes.
No. Okay, I was gonna try stealth.
So how would you like to use the stealth skill?
Oh yeah. So it's just
Not
like
distracting me what you're doing.
so this like empty guy is just like stretching itself out still and looking at me.
Oh, yeah, he's sort of lumbering to block your path of the direction you're running.
Right. Well, and is he like this is a weird question. Is he like fully turned towards me, or is it like he's looking sideways at me?
Towards me, and you can see he's got one foot is lurching forward, and he's stretching out a long arm to sort of block your passage.
I think I'm gonna try and run between his legs. He looks pretty tall.
Okay. So you're gonna use athletics, acrobatics, or do you still want to try and use stealth and do it stealthily somehow?
Yeah, I guess stealth doesn't really help me here. His stealth's kind of high, and he's seen me now. So, yeah. I'll go I don't know how to acrobatically do that, other than maybe to like slide across the ground.
Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good work.
Okay.
That was fine.
Then slide across the ground, acrobatics. Then yeah. 21.
Oh my god, outstanding. So, as he lurches forward with his huge limb to block your path, You sprint as fast as you can and baseball slide perfectly beneath the huge branch that comes to take your head off. You slide and begin to like slide through the dirt. It carries you through its giant legs. You can see its sort of legs and torso is covered with old sort of brown decaying moss. There's bits of bark crumbling off it and falling as it sort of lurches towards you. You slide through its legs and you hear it as it turns to follow you. The rest of you manage to run past the huge revivified tree ant as it's now focused on. Oh, and you get his heavy steps coming towards you. Jess, as Owen slides through its legs, you manage to get ahead. In the immediate aftermath, there is a dense thicket of heavy brush sort of blocking your path. It looks, there seems to be some sort of way through. But it seems to be completely blocking your path for those of you that are not as nimble-footed as you and Arwen.
How, like, sort of how dense and dead is it looking?
It's looking quite dead, and it's maybe 5 feet thick by 15 to 20 feet long. It's like this old gorse bush-looking thing. It's looking quite dry, though.
I think that was the key word in that one, like dry. I see what's happening here.
I think it might be Burning Hands o'clock.
Burning Hands o'clock. So
Okay. I mean, does it look like it's going to go up quickly, or does it look like I'm going to end up running into some fire?
Well, that would be a separate intelligence check, which you do not have time for.
I like that. It's like there's one way through. I set it on fire.
There's one way through for me. That doesn't necessarily mean for all of you guys. I'm not entirely selfish. You know, if I can just get it out of the way fast. I have made some poor decisions with fire recently, though. So now I have a worry. Okay,
Go for it. So this is going to be Arcana.
okay, yeah, let's do it. I may regret this in about 3 seconds. An 11?
An 11. So you run towards the gorse bush. Arwen's hot on your heels. Your voice behind you. You can hear the clanking and clanging of Godfrey and Torlek. You see in your mind there's no way the heavily armored lads are going to get through this quickly, and you summon the power inside of you and blast forward the Burning Hands spell. It hits the gorse bush. It does indeed go oomph up in your face, but as you quite rightly guessed, it goes up, and you have to run through it. So as you do, there's this huge burst of sparks that shower through the early evening air. You take 2 points of fire damage, but you burst through, creating this beautifully Jessail-shaped hole in the fiery gorse bush for Arwen and Javoy to leap through. Leo, Godfrey, Torlek, you follow through, barreling through the flames. Behind you hear the tree ant roar and recoil back from the fire.
That went better than it could have.
Yes. Not quite a success, but still pretty good. Immediately afterwards, you see that the ground slopes off very sharply. There is a very sharp dip where there was once, it looks to be old ancient steps and gravel. And it is Javoy that comes around the corner with his survival check and quickly gets in front of you and goes, no, to the right, to the right, to the right. And he guides you all to the right-hand side. We can see there's a slight mossy bank. It's a lot easier, nice for you to go down. You can all start clambering, pounding down there. As you look over your shoulders, the bright green glow is advancing. Quick It's right on your arse. Where are we? Next in the thing, Leo, you see up ahead there looks to be a large crevasse that is sort of forming, crumbling away the ground. The path leads winding down the hill towards the side of a large outcrop of rock with which it turns around. And the path itself looks to be quite crumbled. And you think that you as a nimble-footed man can get across there, but possibly your heavily armored friends may not.
Should probably make a go for it then. You know, see if I can get across there and find out what happens.
Okay, wonderful. So how are you going to get across? What are you going to use?
I guess possibly acrobatically.
Arwen's already used acrobatics.
Oh. I guess it'll have to be just
Performance.
athletically then, I guess.
Okay, go for it. So you're going to dash across the crumbling path to see if it takes your weight.
Fast as I can. 17 on an athletics check.
17. As you dash towards it, Javoy kind of is still gesturing for Godfrey and Torlek to run down the side instead of going down the street. You notice the path ahead is crumbling. Step out and move quickly and nimbly across it. Rocks fall beneath your feet, but you believe it's going to take your weight. You get to the other side and hold out a hand. You start to help Arwen across, sail across. Javoy comes in the last. With that, you manage to get Torlek and Godfrey across with your strong arm. You all manage to safely traverse the crumbling path. Next in the list, it's Godfrey. So as you guys take a breather, turn to stop and look, Godfrey, you see the gravemen approach. They float across the crevasse towards you, brandishing spectral swords, leering at you.
How close are they?
They are 45 feet away.
Well, that's 15 feet. Shit, I'll look.
Well, you can keep running. You've literally just stopped to turn and look, and these guys are approaching.
Can I move 15 feet towards them? Without
You
falling
can.
off a ledge or something stupid?
You can take a step forward,
Well, then I'll.
or you
tell
can take a beat and wait for them to approach you, so they are midway over the gap.
Yeah, sure,
Whatever
do
you
that.
need to do.
So when they're within 30 feet, I'll just turn undead.
Okay, fantastic. Do you want to use your religion for that then?
Not particularly. Since it's
Okay.
just +2, but sure.
Well, it's a skill check, sir. So what would you like
Yeah.
to use your skill?
Could it change it to insight? Because I'll know what scares them religiously.
Yeah, we'll let you go with that. That's cool. That's
Well,
fine.
it's still only a 10.
10. Okay.
Hard to read, ghost people.
You see when you turn undead, you hold your hands out in front of you, mutter the words of the lady. Blinding light flashes. The majority of them turn and flee back towards the keep. One takes a stop, seems to wave wildly with its sword. You've managed to stop them in the tracks. You can all keep going, running. Okay, here we go. Next on the list, Torlek. Okay, so Torlek, as you begin running, everyone else, you've taken the lead now. You can see up ahead there is a rushing stream careening off the cliff into this beautiful cascading waterfall. Across it looks to be a large rotting log. It looks to be rather slippery. It's about 20 feet across and about 5 feet wide. But it's rather slippery.
Okay.
So how are you going to get across that and ensure your companions get across?
I would like to cast Enhance ability Owl's Wisdom on myself to give myself advantage on wisdom-based checks, and then I'd like to use Survival so that I can, to run across the mossy log and put my feet in the right place, etc. If that's cool. And while I do that, I want to take my spider silk rope and just spool it out behind me as I run across, so that the others can kind of use it to get across without too much issue. That's going to be 20.
20. That's good. Okay, so you managed to quickly cast Owl's Wisdom on yourself, holding your holy symbol to your chest. You sphere out the spider silk rope behind you and charge across the log. Your feet barely touch the rotten, mouldy wood as you scamper across the other side. You stop and pull the rope tight. As the rest of you manage to pull yourselves along, using the rope for stability, and you all manage to reach the other side of the river. With that, you hear the boom, 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 these large footsteps approaching, and Arwen, as you start to bolt off again, heading downhill this time, a huge whoa, and this tree bursts in front of you, splintering. This huge tree starts to fall across the path towards your companions and yourself. You can see the tree ant behind it is like roaring in the sky.
Okay. Can I do a survival check then? Find a different route?
Yes, why not? Let's roll.
Uh, that's a 11.
That's an 11. Okay. With an 11, you look quickly left, quickly right, but the panic of the huge tree falling towards you, just you get blinkers. You decide to run straight forward, run for it. You manage to get through the large mess of branches as they crash to the ground, but your friends sort of get caught up in the loose branches and leaves and have to fight their way through. They're slowed down ever so slightly. You have to turn and stop. And with that, Jess, you see the large tree ant as you're all fighting your way through the branches bring up one of its huge arms. It's about to smash down on your small group as you fight through the branches.
Right. Can I use insight to get an idea of kind of where that's going to land and give everyone a shove in the opposite direction so we can sort of do a little roll away?
Ooh, yeah, do that. That sounds good.
Roll good, roll good. I did not roll good.
Oh
Should
no.
run under
That
the
was a
tree.
6.
So as you try and insight where it's going to land, the huge branch comes down. You don't see its second arm coming over the top, and they both boom slam down either side of your little group. I'm going to need everyone to make a where are we? Make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Joy.
Well, I dodged it.
Oh, yes. I rolled a
Um,
19, so 18.
3.
17.
Non-natural 20.
This is the most
Natural
dexterous I'll ever be.
What was yours, Arwen?
13.
13. Okay, so only Torlek is knocked flying by the huge limbs as they boom slam to the ground. The rest of you manage to sort of duck and dive out of the way, taking 4 points of bludgeoning damage as the sort of branches and small branches slap against you. Torlek, you take 9 points of bludgeoning damage and are thrown 10 feet, sort of perpendicular away from the group. The tree ant sort of raises its arms up again. And you were all going to have to fight this thing now. You did manage to escape, unfortunately.
Fuck.
Boo. But we did get rid of the ghosts, right?
You did get rid of the ghost, so it is easier. Here we go. Okay, so next on the scene is going to be Hmm.
Roll, isn't it?
Okay, Shivoy. No, Shivoy. Shivoy is going to jump back over here and cast Enhance Ability Strength on Torlek.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much. Bull strength.
There we go. So Leo is up next.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about running away, like.
Just play the pleasing ditty.
Okay, so you can see behind you there's a 10-foot cliff. So you're sort of running through the bottom of a gorge at the minute. So the embankment behind you is about a 10-foot sheer embankment. You can see there's a ledge above that. There's a huge tree in the way of it, and Arwen's on the other side of the tree. There's this huge tree and sort of burst through the trees to your right and is harassing you with its large limbs.
So we're going, like, what? North here, I guess?
Yes, you're going that way. You've come from this direction, and you're going this direction. Arwen, from where you are, you can see that there is quite a large cliff rising to the north. You're sort of running to the left of it. So this is a huge cliff up.
Alright.
It's better than a huge hole into the ground.
Yes. I know the perspective on this map isn't great, but all the cliff areas you see are going up from this bottom here.
Big wall.
Yeah, you're in the bottom of the canyon.
Yeah.
All the walls around you are sort of up. You've ran down into this gorge.
Okay.
Cool. Alright then. So we've got this tree in the way as well. That's gonna need a leaping over.
It's gonna need a leaping over, or it's gonna be half your movement to get through the branches here.
This side, yeah. Okay. Well, he doesn't look like he's got any more trees to grab, does it? That's a good thing.
No.
They need more trees to uproot and throw. So, yeah, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go, what, half movement? Maybe move to about, what, here? Or that one's like
So
5 spaces?
that square and that square, to get through those two, is going to cost you 20 feet of movement to get through those two.
And what's standard movement? 30 feet?
30 feet.
Alright, and let's, well, it'll take us to about, what, there then?
You can get to here.
Yeah. Alright, let's get to there.
You'll be out of it on your next turn. Okay.
Sounds good. I mean, I just don't think it's gonna take too lightly to a rapier stuck in his foot, you know what I mean? Like, not a thing that you do to Ents, really, is it? So, yeah.
Yeah,
You might if it's trying to kill you.
First time for everything and all that.
there is definitely.
I'll run first, rapier later.
Okay, so Godfrey, you're up next.
Okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try command on the end.
Oof.
Okay, go for it.
It's a save and throw. For you.
Ah, right, hang on. It's a wisdom saving throw, is it?
Yep.
And I need to bring up.
14.
Ents are really wise, man. Oh, he's a tree lad. And from everything I've been told and seen in the movies, they're pretty wise.
Ooh. That's going to be a 19 for a wisdom save.
Yeah, that doesn't
Its
work.
eyes glow with this horrible green-blue light. There's a green-blue aura around its face.
We're just gonna try and climb over the tree then, I guess.
Oh well.
Well, let's have athletics or acrobatics. Try and climb over. Oh, hang on. Is command an action or a bonus action?
It's an action, I think.
Command
Oh yeah, it's an action.
is an action, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you climb over the tree on your next turn. Unless you want to take a running jump at it as part of your movement.
Hell yeah.
DC will be a little bit higher with it being in armor. But go for it.
Athletics.
I reckon beat a 13. Beat a 13, you're going to see this thing.
I rolled a 13, so.
Ah, outstanding. So, Torlek, you just see Godfrey go, for this, and then just turn and start running towards the tree. And with a sprightly display of athletics, not often seen by a man in full armor, just completely clears the tree as if it's a 5-bar gate, and he's running from the farmer. He just whoop over the tree without even touching it. Lands heavily, boom, on the other side.
Game we used to have back in the village, jumping over the tree.
Tree
There
leaping.
wasn't a lot else to do, to be honest. So.
Torlek, you're up next.
Okay. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40. So if I use my action to dash, I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And using my action to dash.
Half movement it through the trees.
Yeah, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And... Oh, go on.
Where do you start from here?
Yeah.
Alright, okay, that's fine. That's alright.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm just going to leg it as fast as I can, but as I run past the tree, I would like to use my bonus action, if I can, to take off my bandolier of Molotovs, which I'm still wearing, and hook them on a branch as I run past.
Ooh, that's going to be a sleight of hand check.
12.
12. So as you run through the branches, you unhook your Molotovs and you just sort of let go of them into the branches. You hear them clink to the floor underneath the tree. You've not managed to hook them onto a branch.
Doesn't matter, they're there.
But they are there.
And as I'm just running, I'm going, Jess, wait for your moment! Like, it's very clear what the plan is here.
I catch that train size hint. Much obliged.
What will we use? This. There we go. Oh, is that one nicer? That one's nicer. There we
The
go.
tokens that leave the white background on you.
I know, it's a pain in the arse, isn't it? Okay, so you see as you run, Torlek, run like the wind, the treant. Boom. Boom. To here. Jess, Godfrey, Arwen, Leopold, Joy all see him reach forward and plunge his hands into the ground. You can see these writhing tendril-like roots spread out under the floor beneath you all in a 30-foot radius. And these lot here are all going to play strength saving throws as the roots burst from the ground beneath your feet and begin to try and wrap around your legs and your ankles.
23.
23. Godfrey, you managed to shake them off.
5.
11.
Godfrey. Leocono, Jessil,
11.
feel strong roots grasp round your legs and begin to try and pull you to the floor.
Fuck.
You are effectively entangled. Arwen.
18.
18. Arwen, you just managed to slice away with your short sword, cut them back, manage to get free, as is Godfrey, and oh my god, Javoy has rolled 7. I think that's going to be, yes, that's enough for Javoy. He manages to deftly sidestep out of the way, runs up the side of the wall slightly, and then lands back down away from the roots. And as the two of you are entangled, you begin to feel yourselves pulled to the ground, and then slightly closer to the treants. Such a sail, you move 5 feet that way. Godfrey, you move, getting dragged through the tree.
I'm not caught by it.
Leocono, sorry, it's getting dragged through the tree branches towards the treant. Jess, you come towards the plunged hand, the treant with its hands in the floor, its blue-green eyes staring at you. You feel the tendril roots climb up your body. They wind their way underneath your armor and bits of clothes. You can feel them scratching against your skin. 2 of them pop out the top of your neckline underneath your clothes and grab their way up towards your mouth. One tries to force its way inside your mouth, the other tries to force its way inside your nose. I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please. DC 13.
Oh, you're getting
That was not a 13.
That's not a 13. You feel a gasp and your heart begins to beat in your chest as you feel the root enter your mouth and the other one start to force its way up your nostril. You're going to begin choking.
Oh, good.
We're back to the top of the round and it's Arwen. You can see that Jess is beginning to be invaded by the tree's roots.
Yeah. The plan I had been thinking about is now not an option. Well, it's a tree. I don't really know how much good arrows would do. Can I?
You shot arrows at a tree before many times in practice. They tend to thunk into the bark, and then after you retrieve them, they don't leave much of a mark.
Yeah, it was more the living tree scenario that I was like,
It did have eyes.
Does it? Oh, maybe.
It does have eyes.
Yeah, could I maybe try shoot at its eyes then?
You can. The AC is going to be increased by 3 to hit its eyes. So you're going to need 17 or above to get it in one of its eyes.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yep, +6.
Okay.
Yeah. +6. Yep. 20. So 30-20. You let fly with the arrow. It whistles its way towards the treant's eyes. It manages to turn its gaze towards you as it thunks into one of these bright, glowing green-blue eye sockets. Let's have some damage off you, please.
Right. So, 2, 1d8. How much damage on the thing? 1d8 plus 2. Longbow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Jess, you're going to be up next, making a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
3, the arrow flies, it thunks into its eye as it roars. It begins to snap one of its arms free from the roots growing into the ground to claw at the arrow. You can hear the arrow shaft snap as the crunching of bark, the scraping of wood against wood smashes the arrow out of the treant's eyes, the possessed treant. Anything else, Arwen?
Maybe a quick shot.
Okay.
-5. Okay, so 12.
12. So you let fly with the second arrow aiming towards its eye. The second arrow was flying, and it manages to turn right at the last second, and it plinks harmlessly off its sort of thick, natural armored bark face. And you see the arrow sort of ping off and fly off to the side. You'll be able to find that one later.
Okay.
You saw where it went. It's gone into the bush down here.
Sorry, so
Okay, cool. So Jess, as the tree roots begin to invade your personal space, your intense personal space, you feel your ankles and shins begin to be pulled beneath the ground. I'm going to need a Constitution saving throw off you first to see if you can wrench your head and nose free from the roots.
17.
You manage to snap your head back. You feel this horrible, like pulling sensation as a root is violently ejected from your throat and nose. But you manage to get your head free and take a huge gasp of air. You can now do a strength saving throw to try and break free as you are getting slowly pulled underground.
I don't think a 10's going to make it.
10 is not quite going to make it. You need to get a 14. So you feel your shins and knees now begin to pull under the ground towards the roots of this huge, rotten, possessed oak. So you're still entangled. You're going to get another saving throw on the end of your next turn for that. Right, so you see Javoy sort of move, and then with a cat-like grace, spring up the wall. He casts about quickly, and you see him mumble something under his breath, and do a quick hand movement. Here we go. The huge spider erupts out of the ground next to the giant rotting oak, and lashes forward towards the possessed tree with its fangs bared. Yeah, and it is going to connect with its fangs. It does 4 points of piercing damage as it lashes into the tree. Okay. Let's see this giant spider. Like Javoy's got his hand out towards the giant spider. Torlek, you feel the strength inside you that was imbued dissipate.
Mm-hmm.
The giant spider's lashed out forward towards the tree. Leo, you're up next.
Do I need a con saving throw from this?
You need a con save, yes. No, you don't need a con save. You need a strength save, sorry, to wrestle free.
16.
16, you managed to brandish your rapier and cut the roots away from your ankles as it's dragging you through the tree branches. You're getting scratched and scraped, but not too damaged. You managed to free yourself from the pulling roots that were dragging you towards the tree ants.
Nice.
You are free, sir.
Okay. That's my
And you
dashing.
Okay. Next up is Godfrey.
I'm going to try and get back on this tree and grab a hold of Giselle, try and haul her out of the roots.
Okay, let's have acrobatics for you to climb the tree. I'm over the trunk you've just leapt over.
Well, can I not just use the movement?
Yeah, I suppose you could use the movement and then athletics to see if you can pull Giselle free. Strength check.
Yeah, you're staying in that tree. 8.
So as Jess,
Call it
you see Godfrey, like leap back over the tree trunk. He reaches out with both of his hands, grasps yours, and begins to pull. You hope to be pulled free, but what actually happens is you just begin to stretch and you don't move at all.
Pull her in half. Oh well. never mind.
Godfrey, you feel if you pull any more, you're going to dislocate Jess's shoulders, so you just sort of brace against the roots that are trying to pull her into the ground. There's a
Is that-
brutal tug of war going on now.
Is that at least gonna give her like a hand when she tries again?
Yes, so Jess is going to have advantage next time to get free of the roots.
That'll do.
Cheers.
I guess I'll bonus action Word of Radiance, just because I'm there. So it's a con save for the thing. I'm sure it's quite conny.
It is quite conny. It doesn't have it as a saving throw though, but it's got an 18.
Yeah, it's fine. Fuck this tree!
Right, so it's going to use one of its legendary actions.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
It's nice to be
Oh,
thorough.
you like try and like what does your word of radiance look like again?
I think he'll just say something under his breath and it just flashes all around him, just some bright light.
By the fucking light. This bright light flashes out. The tree ants just you can see its giant eyes blink for a second, and then through the flash, this long tendril comes out and wraps itself around you. And it is going to be. You take 5 points of cold damage as this chilling touch emanates from the root, the tendril grasps around you, begins to. You feel the skin goose pimple chill, and it begins to. It feels as if you've been given frostbite across your chest.
Nice. 5 points, you say?
5 points of cold damage. Torlek, you're up next.
Okay. Am I able to target the roots binding Giselle for an attack? I'm thinking Sacred Flame because I can force it to make a dex save, and if it's a root, I can just Sacred Flame focusing the roots that are grabbing her to try and get it to let her go.
You can. It's a ranged spell attack, isn't it?
No, it's a dex save from the target, which is why I'm saying can I target it?
Yes, I would say you'll be able to target the hand itself that's gone into the ground that's producing the roots.
Wicked. In that case, I will seeing what Godfrey's doing. I'm going to try and get it to break its grip on her. Then Sacred Flame the hand. So it's a dex save from the target.
Dex save is a 13 as it's trying to wrench its hand around and move around.
Fuck's sake! It needed 13. Doesn't work. As
As you let fly with your Sacred Flame, you build it up and then hurl it towards it. It just shifts its body weight and its whole wrist creaks and crunches. You see bark snap off as it moves out the way and it scorches the ground behind it.
Fuck. Okay, in that case, seeing that I can't do anything more to actually help her that way, I'm going to just point at Jess and cast Shield of Faith on her. This is a bonus action. And she becomes sparkly. She shimmers and gets +2 to AC. Concentration up to 10 minutes.
Nice. Okay, that's
Thank you.
wonderful. Okay, so it is the Truiant's turn, and it is going to lash out at the giant spider with one of its other branches and just swipe at it. This huge 10-foot branch swings round to connect with the spider. It does so center mass. You see the spider take a huge hit. Where are we? There's a bit of sort of echo flies out the back of the spider as a crunching of carapace, but it's still up and hissing with its legs raised up in the air and its fangs bared at it. Seeing as that worked quite well, it is going to swipe wildly back at Godfrey and Arwen with this huge branch. It's going to swing wildly at the two of you. So Godfrey, it's only a 10, but Arwen,
Miss.
it's a 25.
Oof.
I think you.
Yeah.
That's going to connect.
25.
You take, oh my good lord, 16 points of bludgeoning damage. No, sorry, that's wrong. It's not that. It is 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Fucking hell.
Right.
And a strength saving throw from you, please.
Does she have advantage
if
now
my-
because I'm pulling her? Or is this a separate thing?
This is Arwen.
Ah,
You're pulling Jasail. It's Arwen. Swiping out. Strength saving throw. So yes,
Okay,
you
21.
take the 40 points of bludgeoning damage, but you do not get knocked 10 feet backwards. You manage to keep your feet and roll with the slap of the huge tree branch. And with that, it is you are up next.
Right. Okay. So Godfrey is pulling Giselle away. Is she still attached to him at any?
She is still attached to the tree roots underneath the ground. She's currently knee deep into the ground.
I don't think I used one of those like petrol bomb or whatever they were, those bombs, battling bombs. And I thought I could use
Bathroom
it, but
bombs.
yeah, but I can't really throw that when she's attached to the tree.
The tree is rather large, so you could throw it at the back of the tree over here and set the back of it on fire without damaging Arwen. So you could aim for the back corner here.
Yeah, I could. Okay. Yeah, I think the arrows
It's
are
25 feet tall and covering a ground radius of 15 feet square, so it's huge.
okay. It might take a while then, and he might let me go. I feel like I should ask Giselle, is she okay with me risking that?
I'm not sure this time.
Yeah,
Giselle is just gonna nod, being like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Alright then,
I
I'm
mean-
gonna throw my baffling bomb at the tree.
The
At the
bathroom
back.
bomb.
The furthest from her.
Okay, so that's going to be the dexterity plus proficiency, because I'd say you're all proficient with throwing these jugs by now.
Okay, so my dexterity is +4. Okay, so right. So 21.
21. So you let fly with the bath bomb and it explodes on the back of the tree. And immediately the fire spreads wildly across the dead, rotting bark of the tree. Roars up with this explosion of light and heat. The tree roars. This huge, otherworldly howl. Roll your damage.
Right.
Were they
Damage.
2d6 those?
2d6 fire damage.
Oh, so 2d6. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
8.
So you throw it, being aware of what these things look like. It catches fire like crazy. It burns through the dead, decaying wood on this tree like something like possessed, and it does way more damage than you think was extremely effective against the tree. As it, through the back of it's now roaring bonfire coming off the tree, and the spider kind of hisses backwards, tries to take a step back, but Javoy like concentrates, forces it into the fight still. And the tree arm begins to swing wildly with its other arm as it begins to burn and crackle. Okay, anything else from you?
I'm not sure there's much else I can do right now. That's probably
Bonus action, you can quick shot its eye again if you want.
I'll give it a go. Yeah, can't hurt, I guess. blind him as well. Right, let me go back to my attacking. Right. Yeah. But so +6 -5. I can't add 8.
8. Your arrow was flying into the dead, burning wood at the back of the tree. It just disappears in the fire. You won't be able to find that one later.
It's been a long day.
Javoy is moving along the cliff edge. You can see him like concentrating on the spider. It whips round, and you see this jet of silk erupt from the back of it. It covers the tree entirely, but it doesn't manage to hamper its movements. Unfortunately, like it just webs it all up. The tree ant just kind of rips through the webbing of the giant spider. Okay, what else is it gonna do? That's it. Okay, Godfrey, you're up next. No, it's not. Sorry, I've missed Jasail out. I've missed Jasail out entirely. It's Jasail saving. I do apologise. The giant spider's webbing will still stand, though.
Right, so am I still entangled at this point, or did I get out there?
You are still entangled. You have advantage to get out of it, though. That's going to be your action to get out of it.
Cool. And that's a strength check, isn't it?
With advantage now, because Godfrey is helping you.
Oh my god!
Oh, fuck.
So as Godfrey pulls and you pull, Jess, you feel the roots tighten around your lower half, and you pull deeper into the ground, up to your waist now. Godfrey, I need you to make a strength saving throw as you are pulled ever so slightly closer to the tree. The roots are wrapping all the way around Jasail and now trying to entangle around your arms too. 11. You feel your arms get locked up by these writhing, dark brown, dirty, thick roots that are moving like snakes up towards your shoulders. You feel them interweave behind your shoulders, and you are now getting pulled head forward towards the ground with Jasail. Jess, you think if you don't get out of this next time, you're going to be almost just a head above the ground.
Oh, good.
Leo.
I think, Leo, some people in the group could do with some fucking inspiration.
I do not feel very inspired right now.
The thing is, like, yeah, I'm not feeling that inspired right now. Like,
Fake it till you make it.
Be it till you see it, mate. What's the plan? I guess I'm gonna have to get back here, aren't I? Hang back to here. Let's. All right.
So you can see thick roots grasping around the back of Godfrey's shoulders that are curling round his arms. And this huge tree ant that's on fire. Jasail is up to a mid-chest above the ground.
All right. So,
Being
I mean,
pulled slowly beneath the tree to a doom.
right. So what I can do is let's try hacking at these bits around Godfrey at least, and then Godfrey can take the tail. That's what I'm hoping for here. So
It's been going great so far.
yeah, well, no time. Right. So I'm gonna try hacking at this with my rapier, hacking at the root. So I guess I'm just attacking the roots, really, aren't I? So,
Yes. Let's have some fire on
it'd
it.
be 19 to attack root.
19. You managed to strike the roots true with your rapier. Let's have some damage off you, please.
That is 4 damage of root.
Root damage.
4 root damage. You
Some
managed
roundup
to
on there.
you managed to cut free one of the roots that was wrapped around Godfrey's shoulders. Godfrey, you feel your entire left side is free now. Your right side's still sort of trapped with this other root around it.
And with that, that's quite inspiring to Godfrey, I'd say. I've got him out of that. I'd say he feels inspired by that.
You're going to say any inspiring words to him?
It's going to be an inspiring look.
With that, Godfrey, you feel your left side come free. You look behind, and it was just like giving you the look.
Okay.
You can do it, look. you do feel inspired though, like genuinely.
We'll see how I roll.
Okay, Godfrey, yeah, you're up next.
Okay. Well, the definition of insanity might be doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So I'm insane. And
Do
I'll
it.
keep trying to pull Seal out of the thing.
Right, strength check, please.
Come on,
If you roll high enough, you will free Jasail and yourself.
I rolled a natural 20.
Oh, yes! So with a
Kaboom.
mighty, you give Jasail a nod. She nods back. You roar against the roots. You feel the one around your shoulder just give way and snap. There's a trickling of sap runs down the back of your armor. Jasail, you feel yourself move towards Godfrey, and there's a movement, and then there's a snap, and a release of tension, and you go rolling backwards onto the floor, free of the roots.
With that, do I pull both over the other side of the log?
No, I would not say you that.
Boo.
You put Jasail free, and you can topple off the log if you wish.
No, not if she's not coming.
Okay. So Jasail, as you're pulled free, you get a quick glance into the root structure below the tree. As you look down the sort of the hole in the ground, you see these large, hollow, like fang-like roots that were like inching towards your legs that sort of snap backwards as you're pulled free.
Oh.
Ooh.
So that was my action, I suppose.
Yes.
I don't think I've got any
Bonus.
bonus stuff. Well, actually, who took a load of damage? Arwen.
Arwen has taken a good slap.
I'll heal and word Arwen then.
Oh,
So,
What does your healing word sound like?
be healed in the light.
Outstanding.
So rolled a 3 plus 4. So spellcasting modifier. So 7. 7 health back.
Nice.
And I'll turn to Jasail and say, "Come on, Cecilia, gotta get out of here."
Okay. Torlek, you're up next.
Okay. I'm gonna stay where I am because I don't want to be in the blast radius of those Molotovs, and I'm going to hit this thing as hard as I fucking can to deter it from hitting my friends. So I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt at 2nd level right at it. So it's a ranged spell attack, which is going to be 23.
I'll fuck this tree.
Outstanding.
Wicked. So, because I cast it at 2nd level, it's going to take 5d6 damage.
Christ.
Man, I really wish I hadn't spent this entire fight fighting over this tree because I really wanted to cast Scorching Ray on this bastard.
19! Although that might have taken
good
its
roll.
toll. That might have taken its toll on injured, stitched up
19.
Torlek.
19. Sorry, what was the spell again? I'm just mind blanked.
Guiding Bolt.
Guiding bolt.
Plus the
Wonderful.
next attack has advantage on it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So you let fly this guiding bolt, and it corkscrews through the air, sails between Leo and Arwen's shoulders. It's a flash of light as this huge, shimmering arrowhead, boom, slaps into the side of the rotten oak, and it erupts in the shimmering light, and it roars in pain. You can see that it's still on fire, and parts of it are now starting to fall off. Like you can see bark peeling away, crumbling to the ground as it thrashes around.
Okay, and then bonus action, just shout to the group, "Get away from it! This way!"
As it does, it's going to take another of its legendary actions and plunge its hand back into the ground.
Look, this
Roots
guy.
erupt all over. Arwen, Leo, Godfrey, and Jess, and the spider will need to make dexterity saving throws.
Since I'm standing on top of the tree, not on the ground, does that make any difference?
That will, yes. You'll be immune from this. So it's just Arwen,
Okay.
Leo, and Jess.
Hmm.
I like this tree now. The tree is my home.
Yeah, I think I live here.
You see huge
Oh,
roots
for God's
wrap
sake.
around.
17.
What did you roll for?
Dexterity saving throw.
Sorry, I said dex. It's not dex. It's strength. Sorry for the grasping roots.
Oh,
It's dex.
that's
Dex for the
a
slam.
completely different roll.
4.
Sorry, lads and lasses.
Can I keep my new number because it was better?
You
That'll
can
then
keep
be
it. So
Not to
everyone's
blow.
strength check. What we got?
13 then.
It was 16.
4.
Arwen,
4.
4. Leo and Arwen, you feel huge roots erupt from the ground, wrap themselves around your legs, and you begin to get pulled towards the burning tree ant. Jess, you've seen this move before. You managed to quick step out the way. And you see the spider is also pulled towards the tree ant. And the spider's going to have to make... Oh, God. So... you see Joy like squirming and fighting against the roots. Jess, you see these roots just plunge through the spider's carapace into its squishy body, and it begins to get pulled into the ground. Okay, and now it's going to swipe at all 4 of you. Now you're in range.
Fuck.
I'm gonna do a big tree swipe coming in. Ooh. Right, it's rolled a 13. So that's going to be an 18 to hit all 4 of you.
Ah, fuck,
Ooh, yeah,
just
that got
hits,
me.
yeah.
That is 12 points of bludgeoning damage, and I need a strength saving throw off all of you, please.
12!
12, sir.
I only have
Fuck.
15.
Yeah,
19.
same. I'm down to 9. Sorry, I rolled a 9. I wish I was
9.
only down to 9.
Jeff, you take the bludgeoning damage and are thrown 10 feet backwards.
Is this a strength? Sorry.
19.
19, you manage to keep your feet atop the tree, roll with the blow. Arwen,
Strength saving, yeah?
yeah,
16.
16. You are managing to fight against the roots. You bring your arm up, you take the full force of the bludgeoning damage, but you still manage to stay upright. Leo, did you pass?
17.
17.
Damage.
Now you also managed to keep your feet taking a huge blow off the branch. Godfrey, from your position on the tree, you would expect that if they take this hit, they'd be forced deeper into the ground.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, and it's going to take it.
Rid of the problem.
And the
I've changed my mind. I don't like being on this tree anymore.
spider gets fucking beat to shit. And is also forced deeper into the ground. You can see Javoy winces with the spider's pain. He's like, ah! Arwen, you're up next. Strength saving throw. Actually, Constitution saving throw first, please. No, it's not. Strength saving throw. You're not close enough.
Strength saving throw.
Go on.
5.
5. Oh dear. You are going to be pulled towards the tree ant. So this is going to be interesting. Yeah.
More burns for hours.
You're not going to get pulled towards it. You are going to get pulled down underneath the fallen tree in front of the treant. So, Leo, as you look to your right, Arwen just goes like that under the ground, and she's barely head and shoulders above the ground now, scrabbling to get free.
Oh no.
Is the tree taking more damage from the fire each turn?
The tree is taking fire damage from Arwen's bath bomb, yes.
Cool.
And that is your turn. It is going to take its fire damage from you. I'm rolling very high with the fire damage, you'll be pleased to know.
Good. At least we're doing something.
Small mercies.
See, almost the entire top half of the tree is completely engulfed in fire. You can hear the branches crackling and falling to the floor. And Jess, you're up next.
Okay, I'm not going to be much help where I am, so I'm going to move up here and sort of like brace both my legs on the fallen tree and just grab Arwen by both arms and try and pull her out.
Okay, strength saving throw. Strength check.
11.
11. So, as with you before, you grab onto Arwen's hands, she's scrabbling, fearful look in her eyes, and you begin to pull Arwen. You just feel like you're getting stretched. Oh my god! Your bottom half isn't moving at all, but Jess is threatening to pull your shoulders free of their sockets. Now, you don't move at all, unfortunately, but you will have advantage on your next strength saving throw to break free. Okay.
That was me.
It is Javoy. You hear a "Ah!" from Javoy as his spider is completely pulled under the ground. You hear his wet scream and then a squelch as the spider disappears beneath the treant. And you can see some of the further coming back into its green, its leaves beginning to go green, and it glows green, and the glow from its eyes intensifies even though it's on fire. Javoy is actually gonna, because of that, he manages to keep his foot on the edge of the cliff. Okay, he is going to see the plight down here, leap down the cliff towards Arwen. Reach forward and cast Enhance Ability Strength on Arwen. Even though it's not really going to help with your saving throws, it's all he can do at the minute that isn't conjuring woodland beings. Right, so next up is Leo. So strength saving throw, please.
What? I thought I was out of this shit.
Oh, you are still entangled, my friend.
No.
You just managed to keep your feet before.
10. On the
10. Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh, for God's sake.
19.
Yay.
19. You feel the roots and tendrils grasping towards your ears, nose, and mouth, trying to force their way inside to be able to shake your head. But you are pulled down to your sort of chest in the ground. You can hear this horrible sound coming from underneath the rotten oak. Now you believe if you don't break free your next turn, you're going to be completely submerged underneath the tree.
Not good.
Godfrey.
How hurt does this thing look?
It looks like it's got scant moments left before it's completely engulfed, but it did regain some fervor from eating the spider.
Well, there's too many people trapped to try and pull them all out, I think, so I'm just going to turn to the tree and burning hands it. Fuck you.
Nice.
You reach forward with your hand and
So it's a
contact the bark.
dex save.
It's not very dexy. That's a 13.
Okay. Uh, 11 points of fire damage.
11 points of fire damage. So you reach forward with your burning hands and just pour fire into the front of this thing, and it just goes up, catching on the dead, dry, rotting bark. It's way more effective than you thought it was going to be, and it courses up the tree's body and reels backwards in pain.
But not dead.
Anything else, Godfrey? No, not quite.
I'll try another radiant word. Just hope it fails. Can't say.
Go. Oh my god, I rolled a 19. No, it's not going to fail its con save.
Fuck this tree. Okay. Can I, as part of my movement, can I just like dive into these two and try and tackle them out of the branches?
You can certainly try.
Oh well, nothing else is working, so fuck it.
DC is going to be quite hard, as you're going to be diving from a height down onto two people that are barely head and shoulders above the ground.
Yeah, that's probably, they're just going to knock them further in and that. I'll just stay there.
Okay. Right, Torlek. Oh, actually, no. It's going to use a legendary action.
Fuck.
He is going to rear back with his one free hand and bring it down in this huge pounding motion. So Jess and Godfrey and Javoy are going to get to make dex saving throws. Arwen and Leo, you're going to automatically fail.
Not good.
Javoy passes his dexterity saving throw, manages to dive out of the way. Godfrey?
Giselle does not.
I rolled another natural 20, so 19.
19, you managed to roll with the punch, so to speak. Jess, did you get above a 13?
Definitely not.
Oh, God, okay.
I mean, I'm on 3 health, so I don't think it's going to matter that much anyway.
No, you're taking 13 points of bludgeoning damage. Godfrey, you take 6, as does Javoy.
Okay, I've got 3 hit points left. So.
Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
I'm down.
Jess is down. Jess, as you begin to lose consciousness and fall to the floor, Torlek, you see this huge tree branch come down, smashing into the fallen tree. Godfrey manages to keep his feet, shielding most of it with his shield. And as the branch comes up, both Arwen and Leoconor have disappeared from view beneath the ground.
That is not good.
Oh shit.
Torlek, it is your turn.
Alright.
Pressure.
No one's attacked it, I think, since you, so you could.
I
roll
know.
advantage.
I know. Torlek's just gonna make a last ditch attempt. I'm just gonna point at it and go, "Let him go!" and guiding bolt. I can't cast it any higher than first level. I've run out of spell slots, so cross your fingers, guys. 15, but I have advantage.
Come on. Yes!
Crit 20!
Oh!
Yeah.
Max damage!
Who needs a
The
second level
crucial
spell?
last second guiding bolt. Torlek sees his friends disappear beneath the ground. Let him go! Channels all of his holy anger, hatred, and rage into this guiding bolt shot. It flies through the air with holy aggression and just pounds into the bark of this tree ant. Let's have some damage off you.
8d6. 30 points of damage.
30
Fuck.
points of damage.
Yes.
As it smashes into the side of the tree, and there's just a flying wood and burning timber as the tree ant is completely obliterated by that final guiding bolt. Godfrey, you have to bring your shield up to shower. The shower of splinters goes flying everywhere. And there's literally smouldering ruins left of this guiding bolt. There's a scream as this white-blue entity appears from the husk of the tree ant.
But then it goes away, right?
No, it
No.
stands there in front of you, raises a finger towards Torlek and screams at him. Though Torlek is out of reach, he's going to reach towards you, Godfrey, with his
Well.
cold, chill, horrible skeletal hand.
Peace out.
He's rolled a 19.
It's
Oh, where's the D4 at? 1, 2. You take 2 points of cold damage, Godfrey.
Yeah,
As
I'm
the
on 1
chilling
hit point.
hand grasps around your throat and begins to choke you.
I really wish I had to turn undead again.
Arwen, you feel underneath the ground.
Oh wait,
These
Warden Flare, Glenn.
You're gonna warding flare.
I really
and-
should have remembered that on the one the tree was bat beating the shit out of us like.
Yes, possibly. Go for it. It's a, what is it?
You just have disadvantage.
Ah. So instead of its 19, it's gonna roll. It's gonna roll. Oh, it's actually gonna roll higher.
Balls!
Yeah, it's rolled a 23.
Okay. Well, with time.
Okay, so Arwen, you feel this sharp, horrible, almost a piercing sensation in your ankle, and then all of a sudden it rips back, and the tendrils around you sort of relax and loosen, and there's this horrible roar and explosion above the ground. You feel all of the tension off your lower half of your body relaxes. You can see light above you as you try and claw towards the surface. So you can use your entire movement to get back out of the hole if you wish, unless you want to stay beneath the ground.
Just become a mole.
Torlek, Godfrey, you see these arms claw out of the ground in this, the form of Arwen covered in like mud and tiny roots and bits of grass, just like claws her way out of the ground. With like these big bright eyes, and her face is just covered in mud. And she gets back up. Arwen, you see this floating spectral knight with its skeletal hand around Godfrey's throat, trying to crush the life from him over the ruins of this burning, splintered tree husk that now litters the valley floor.
Fire movement not to get out of the ground.
You
It
move
was
was.
fire movement to get out of the ground. You can still shoot the fuck out of this thing if you want.
Yes, please. 15.
15. That's a hit.
Yeah. And damage. Oh, for fuck's sake, 4.
4 points of damage. You let fly with this arrow as you fuck you let fly, and the arrow flies over Godfrey's shoulder, strikes into the core of this grave man that's holding him. You see the arrow slow down as it hits the form and then passes through onto the floor. You can see this like aura of green blue energy is dragged from the graveman with the arrow, and it just kind of dissipates into the air. Graveman shimmers and flutters, but still manages to hold its form as it's grasping Godfrey by the throat.
Right, a quick stop. if I can.
Yes.
Right. 14.
Okay. So it's going to be 16, isn't it? Because it's plus 6 minus 5.
I roll.
15, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, shit, can't add.
Yes. So yes, your second arrow. Let's fly. Godfrey's like, oh, braces for the impact. The arrow whistles past his ear. You swear to God, to the Lady of Light, that the fletching touches your ear, Godfrey, as it flies, whistles past, strikes into the form of the grave man yet again.
I was gonna say, even if
That's
even
some damage
at
off
this
the
point,
wall.
even the feather might be enough. Knock us in.
7.
7.
Your second arrow strikes in exactly the same spot your first did. You see again the arrow slows down as it passes through the form. Godfrey, you feel the grip loosen ever so slightly around your throat as the grave man flickers, tries to keep its form. You can see the part of it where it disappears and is incorporeal above the ground is getting smaller, as if its energy is being sapped away from it with those 2 arrow shots. Anything else, Owen?
Let me see where I am again. Am I able to do anything else? Can I move?
Nope.
No, you've done all of your movement.
Then there's nothing else to do.
Okay. Right, Jess. Death saving throw, please.
Oh, good.
20. 20.
Oh dear.
Nothing good happened there.
1 death saving throw. Roll a d4 for me, please.
Okay. That is a 3.
Okay. So, that's good.
Is it?
Is it? Good for
The best
me or good for
there.
you?
Best one there.
The best one is in.
So, Javoy sees that you're down on the ground. He's going to move to you. Over the top of you. And
The
he's going to
back
stabilize you. He's rolled a 17. So you're going to be stabilized now. And Javoy quickly tries to do first aid, rolls you into the recovery position. And you're still out of it though. Leo, again, you feel this horrible piercing sensation begin to press on your lower abdomen, and then all of a sudden it's ripped away. All the tension around you is released. You see light above you. You hear fire crackling. You can use all of your movement to regain the ground if you wish.
Yeah, I'm trying to swim to the
ground.
back up there.
Javoy kind of gasps. Arwen and Godfrey, you see Leo's just spitting out lumps of dirt and bits of root out of his mouth, completely covered head to toe in dirt as he climbs from the ground.
Good times there. Right. I can't move. That's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. Actual ghostly form from the ruined tower, grasping Godfrey round the throat.
Call it names.
Call it names. That's all I can do. Then, let's try and make him laugh. He might drop you, man.
Yeah.
If he falls about the place with hideous laughter, he might drop. You know? I'm
I mean,
thinking.
he's a ghost, he could probably use a good laugh.
Yeah, needs to lighten up. Alright then, so hideous laughter is a wisdom saving throw from me then, Matt. And so we can try and make him laugh for up to 1 minute with a wisdom saving throw of 30.
Ooh. Ooh. I believe he's going to pass it.
Fuck.
Plus 5, yeah. That's a 17.
Oh well.
It just you cast
Legit.
forward with hideous laughter. And it just looks at you and stares you down. Okay, anything else from you, Leo?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Godfrey.
Less than other means might be, or does it seem like it did normal?
It seemed like it was doing the job. Unlike other piercing damage you've seen done to ghasts and spectres.
Okay, well first I'm going to bonus action healing word Giselle. Just shout, "Come on, Celia!" And that's 5 hit points back.
Thank you.
Okay. So Giselle, as you breathe back into life, you have a blinding headache and your vision is spinning. You have a major concussion.
And then I'm just going to try and smite this guy with the mace.
Okay. As you turn back
That's pretty
around,
good.
bring your mace up high, the spectral hand closes around your throat, threatening to squeeze the last of your life from you.
12.
You bring the mace down atop its head. It strikes true.
8 damage.
You bring the mace down, there's blinding light. Boom! It parts the spectral form like butter with the cry into the night. The form dissipates with the blue-green energy sort of fizzling, shooting away, and then turning to nothing. You are surrounded by embers and burning bits of wood.
I'm just going to slide down off the tree. Sit in the grass.
I collapse to the floor holding my stomach.
Sitting down sounds so great right now.
Well, we should probably move a little bit. There is a fire here.
That's
Yeah,
like half of
we
camp
are-
done.
It is starting to spread along this fallen tree towards the big load of pots that Torlek threw.
I was about to say, can we rescue the bath bombs?
You can pick them up, yes.
I want to pick them up and then hand them to a sensible person.
Back to Torlek. They were his, weren't they?
Aye, they were.
Okay.
Have them back.
Thank you, my dear.
Short rest,
Who's
anyone?
got the highest perception?
My passive's 18.
What's yours, Godfrey?
My passive is 16, but my skill is plus 6.
16. You see something glowing among the embers of the rotten oak.
Does it
It's
look
glowing red hot.
like? Can I get that out without getting too close to the fire?
You can look at it, but you reckon to pick that up, it's going to set your entire hand on fire, possibly melt the skin off it.
Okay, well, probably
Make an investigation check from where you're standing.
Look with your eyes, not with your hands.
Godfrey is not very small, so he got a 6.
6. Looks to be some sort of hilt,
Oof.
Let's see what I like.
but it's glowing bright red orange, as if the metal has been superheated by the fire.
Well, I've got a crowbar. Can I like flick it out of the embers with the crowbar? Is that long enough?
You can.
I'll do that.
Okay, let's have a strength check off here then.
Natural 20.
Are you serious?
You
Yeah.
manage to hook your end of the crowbar underneath the glowing red hot hilt of the sword and bring forth this glorious longsword. It slides free. The entire blade is glowing white hot, as if it's been dipped in a forge, and you sort of bring it over with the crowbar and just lie it on the ground with it. As it starts to sizzle.
It's a long sword, you said.
Longsword.
Can anyone here actually use a long sword? Probably the ranger.
Mm.
I could probably use a long sword, but I don't want to.
Not sure.
It's more of a sort of mighty weapon, huh? I think.
Yeah,
But
so you could use it.
You need
Yeah.
you need proficiency in martial weapons.
Bards
Yeah,
have
exactly.
proficiency in specifically longsword, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't have martial weapons, but they have long swords, rapiers, and short swords for some reason.
And full weapon.
But two clerics
That's
can't
just
use it.
a bone. Yeah, I don't know. Longsword seems a bit, like it would be strength based, is it not?
I think it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. Longswords aren't finesse. Strength.
Yeah,
No,
exactly. I'm strengthy.
What about our ranger?
Um,
Do you have proficiency in martial melee weapons?
I'm pretty sure
oh,
rangers
this
can.
one. No.
Yeah, rangers have simple and martial weapons.
Nice.
Oh wait, but all right, yeah, okay, martial weapon. Yeah, I have used martial weapon.
Looks like we found you a present.
I mean, it
You
could be
want-
horribly cursed, so I wouldn't recommend like just jumping straight in.
Yeah.
Maybe
how would
identify it or something first if we've got that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how would I check it first?
Does anyone
I mean,
have
once it's
identify?
cooled down a bit, I can do identify as a ritual if we've got 10 minutes.
We
Nice.
need to sit and have a rest, so probably
Yeah, I couldn't rest to go back to it.
maybe get a bit of cover first. Though.
Yeah, I'll look at it while we have a cup of tea then. I mean, I can just use a spell slot and do it now.
I think we need to rest.
Yeah, we need to rest. Yeah.
Badly.
Nice.
Short rest or long rest, guys?
Short. It's the middle of the day, right? Still.
Yes. It's not the middle of the day. No, you walked for 7 hours, so it's sort of mid-afternoon now. It's getting towards. You've got maybe 4 hours till dusk.
Can we maybe walk for like another half an hour to get away from the giant burning tree that's going to attract everything, and then?
And yes, we can do this. You was not expecting that. You all fought exceptionally well. Javoy is impressed. Now, we will move away from the burning husk of a once great creature. Come. And Javoy is gonna sort of lead you down along this path up the top corner here, where the bottom of the gorge, the other end of the gorge gets quite narrow, as if this was an ancient watercourse at one point. You can see that it would then drop off just in front of you, and as you make your way through this narrow passage where the gorge walls sort of close in to only about 10 feet wide, so you're sort of shuffling through. The wind is howling through here, which feels comforting on your skin for those of you that spent some time underground. And as you break through on the other side, there's a few scant bushes and a couple of sort of like gnarled oak trees that are bent against the wind. You are confronted with this long sort of drop down out of the hills that you're on. You can see down across this river basin. There's a river, large wide river flowing 15 miles or so down down this steep embankment, and across that you can see endless marshland. As you break free, Javoy goes, "That is where we are headed. The Hagsmire. Come, we will get a bit further down this slope. There is a place we can rest, out of the wind. I am going to need dexterity checks from you all, though, to negotiate this rocky bit of scree that sort of goes on for about 100 meters down the cliff, down a slope. And Javoy seems to pick his way across it cat-like with little difficulty.
10.
12.
13.
8.
8. Arwen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, just a second. 19.
So you all begin to make your way down this scree. Some of you sliding. Jessil, you traverse the last 50 feet of it on your bottom, not wanting to risk a fall. The
Classy.
going is slightly slower from that, but it's certainly safer than tumbling down. At the bottom of the bank of scree, you can see there's like a gully that winds its way down the hillside from where you are. And Javoy sort of points just down to the right. You can see there's like a group of large boulders that seem to have tumbled from higher up the hill and have come to a rest in sort of almost like a 90-degree angle against each other. And it says, in the lee of those stones, we can wait a while. It's out of the wind. There is a little bit of fresh water there. As he brings you down, the ground is covered in this thick brown mixture of heather and moss and thick hardy tufts of grass. And you make your way down to these heavily sort of weather-worn stones covered in this white lichen, this sort of dark grey gnarled bits of stone. And then you can see just in between the two of them there's like a little lee that you can get inside. It's big enough for all of you to get in out of the wind. And you can see that there are a small ring of stones from where others have used this spot before. The earth there has been worn away. There's no heather on the ground. It is just bare earth. But it's dry and it's out of the wind. As you get in close towards the stones, you can see small etchings and marks in the stones. And Javoy goes, "This is a resting place for the route we have taken. Few use it, but those that do know to leave it ready for the next. Though Javoy was the last through here many months ago." And he quickly sets about and knocks up a small fire and says, "We will take a rest here. Take a breather."
Probably just collapses on the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a big pull off what's left in the this tankard of painkiller potion and just fucking lie down without a word.
Collapse. Chill.
Are we having a long rest here or a short rest?
I
You
have
stay as long as you like. I think it will be quite safe here. Although the fire in the gorge may attract more unwelcome attention, we should see them long before they see us from this location. As he points back, you can see back up towards the rock slide that you've just come down, and then you can see where the cliff walls of the gorge get quite low, and there's like as you look back, it's like sheer cliffs up, and these huge spikes. And
Do we have
devices that call this the Wolf's Teeth Pass.
Do we have enough time to have a long rest? Or is it going to be pushing it too close for...
He looks down and goes, We need at least one day inside the Hragsmire to find what it is we need to get. To find the location on which to brew the quick wound. I say if we linger here for more than 8 hours, we might be pushing it. We should still be okay. If we find the heat route quick enough, we might be alright. We have
Be alright.
a day and a bit left. No, that is wrong. We have two days left. No, it is fine. We have we have enough time to rest.
Okay.
That will give us a day to get there and a day to find what we need.
So people want to have a long rest then.
My magic is spent. I need spell slots.
Well, if I stop in here, I will cast Prayer of Healing on everyone just in case. So everyone
Nice.
gets 2d8 back. 12.
Outstanding. Everyone do your hit points.
So everyone gets 16 hit points back.
Oh, yes.
That's more than I have. Yeah.
Thank you, Godfrey.
Certainly appreciated.
And that takes 10 minutes, so if you wanted to cast the ritual identifier, you could do that at the same time.
Yeah, let's do that and find out what the sword is.
I'll dish out your XP as well at this moment. You'll get 100 XP each.
Oh, we haven't done XP in a while. Awesome.
Still a while away.
What's the threshold for level 4?
2,700.
Oh, fucking hell, miles.
Yeah, so you need 1,605. Well, I need that.
Well, I'm on
Everyone's on the same.
1080 now.
Oh, I have 15 more.
Okay, so you're casting Identify, yes?
Yeah.
So as you hold the cooling longsword in your hands, it's still a little hot to the touch. I have to sort of wrap it in your bedroll, your cloak, to hold it, to examine it. You see that there are elven markings along the fuller of the longsword, and it's exquisitely forged. It's beautiful with this sort of fire motif across the hilt, and the pommel itself looks to be engraved with that of a flame. As you concentrate on it and cast the Identify spell, you get a sense of the magic that it's been imbued with. This is an enchanted longsword. It's been enchanted with a spell not too dissimilar from Searing Smite.
That's cool.
So it's if we were talking about this as a game, it's a good old-fashioned +1 longsword, +1 to damage, +1 to hit. And it also does an extra D6 damage,
That's a
fire
nice
damage. There's D6 fire damage.
I really wish I could use long swords now.
And the target must make a Constitution saving throw. Otherwise, it is ignited.
Be
Nice.
very in with my aesthetic.
Literal flaming sword.
Yeah.
That is a fucking glorious weapon.
It is. If you were to name the sword, you would believe it'd be called something akin to the Searing Longsword.
Oh.
Tiny.
Right, I'm gonna believe this is yours now.
Thank you.
Excellent. As you take shelter from the howling wind whistling up from the Hagsmire beneath you, you can smell the faintest hint of stagnant water, rotting wood. There's a little hint of what's to come in the Hagsmire. Javoy just kind of goes quiet for a second. Goes, It is a sad thing to see a creature of the Fey laid so low. That was the husk of one of the snarls, he says, a poisoned Fey that you were told about in the Black Oaks. Once beautiful creatures that tended to the woods, now twisted, as with everything in this world. It is a sad day, but I'm glad that we are all still here. You are lucky that you were not taken into its roots. Otherwise, we'd be sharing our rations between fewer mouths. You all fought very well today. Chevoy is impressed. Chevoy is very impressed.
Thank you for helping us, Chevoy.
Thank you for helping Chevoy. See, now I normally, when by myself, just run. I got to pick my battles very carefully when I'm by myself. I see now that traveling with companions may be something to consider in the future. They're all very useful. Right, so you've got a moment there to talk if you wish to talk. If not, let me know.
I think once Godfrey's done his spell, he's kind of just gonna sit, try and chill after that.
Yeah. Much odd.
Yeah, Torlek's kind of a little bit worried about how despondent Godfrey's been acting, and full of feelings for his friends, but he's also absolutely, like, completely and utterly spent in body and mind, and in a lot of pain. So he's not really up to it. He's just sort of lying there, like.
I'm kind of concerned that he's called me the wrong name twice, but I'm also seeing 3 of him right now, so.
Ah, yes. So, your major concussion.
Oh yeah.
Why did it remind you of this?
Oh, hang on. Just before you go into the deals, could I do anything with like lesser restoration with it? I don't have it prepared yet, so that'll be tomorrow. But would that do anything for that, or is it no?
Make a medicine check on Jasale, please, who has a rather large purple welt on her temple.
Medicine. 16.
16. Yeah, you reckon lesser restoration will aid this slightly. It won't remove the concussion, but it may lessen it.
I'll have to do it tomorrow though.
Okay. So, until you are given a bit of a reprieve from your concussion, you have disadvantage on the following: intelligence, wisdom, charisma checks, and constitution saving throws to maintain concentration.
That is like the worst thing.
So just the small stuff then.
Yeah.
Oh, do you like casting spells? Well, fuck you.
So as you all hunker down next to Javoy's small fire, some of you pass out from exhaustion, others from major head injuries. Those of you that are still able, eat some rations, and you sort of curl into your cloaks against the cold of the high mountains that you're in, looking down at the huge, sprawling expanse of the Hagsmire. It stretches out for at least 100 miles in every direction you can see. The task ahead feels almost unaccomplishable, looking for a tiny route amongst all of that mire and misery. With your guide Javoy, You find sleep with a tiny hint of hope.
Just to break the emotion slightly for a moment, is the choice of what's being whispered relevant at all, or is it just a whispery sound effect that you've picked a little
Just
bit?
a whispery sound effect.
Okay.
So
Were
we
you
can't
about to break
understand
out
what
your
they're saying.
Latin there, were you?
Sorry?
Were you about to break out your Latin there, were you?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just for the group, you can tell us what he's saying.
He's saying it's a Latin adage, which literally translated is "Fire tests gold, adversity tests strong men."
Oh, wow.
Glenn said,
That
that is
is
what they're whispering.
strangely poignant.